Shorty, what you sippin' on? What you sippin' on, dog? What you sippin' on? What you sippin' on? What you sippin' on? LA water, California's harder. Say what you want, say what you feel. Ain't nobody really gon' keep it, it's real. Say what you want, say what you feel. Ain't nobody really gon' keep it, it's real. Like you, like you, like you, like you, like you, like you, like me. Say what you want, say what you feel. Ain't nobody really gon' keep it, it's real. Yeah. Drop your 3 cents. Drop your 3 cents. Say what you want, say what you feel. Ain't nobody really gon' keep it, it's real. Drop your 3 cents. Drop your 3 cents. Say what you want, say what you feel. Ain't nobody really gon' keep it, it's real.
Yo, what's good, y'all? What's good?
What do?
Welcome to Drop Your 3 Cent Afterparty. Man, oh man, what's good with you, man?
Man, I'm good, brother. I'm good, man. How you feeling?
Man, I'm good. It's Saturday, you know what I'm saying? Like, I thought I was going to have a day to kind of like chill just a little bit, but, you know, still, shit happens.
Man, don't it? Right, I might today, man. It was crazy.
Yeah, I feel you, man. Yeah, I might have a business thing to take care of sometime soon, so I'm actually kind of prepping for that. So, yeah, man. Yes.
Yeah, what they say, my boys from In Living Color, you only got 2 jobs, you lazy bum.
You know. What's up, Charlene? How you doing?
Real people be busy, man.
Yeah, you already know.
Yeah,
these folks, whoever's next door over here, they over here bum. I'm a do. And I'm like, dang, like he's 60. I mean, just already do. Like, dang, man, what they doing over there?
Man, turned up on
man. Probably over there doing E and do. Man,
where's Jess at?
Tardy.
Oh, man. A mess. Just with the mess, huh?
Yeah, man. You know. We don't see Melvin. Well, I think Melvin might be here at 7:00. I don't know. I think he may think that we start the podcast at 6 or 7:00. You know,
I think yesterday he did say he was gonna jump on late. So
I think that was D too. D said that also.
Oh yeah, D said 7 too. Yeah, maybe that's who it was. I don't know.
Yeah, man. Hey, so if you guys are watching, make sure you guys hit the like, share, and subscribe button. If you guys are on Facebook, please hit that share button. Let's get this out to the people. You know what I'm saying? This is just an impromptu. I didn't like, I think Facebook's kind of messing with us. You know what I'm saying? From yesterday. So we trying to get right. Oh, Cheryl, you saw Bad Boys? How'd you like it? I seen it Friday.
Oh man, look at me. I'm late.
Yeah, you didn't know?
No, I seen the previews, but I don't be going to no movies for real.
Man, I'm old school. I'm a movie head. You know what I'm saying? So I like going to the movies and whatever. And but I'll always go support a black movie too. You know what I'm saying? Especially like opening weekend. But yeah, so my review, my take of it, so I was expecting for it to be corny, you know what I'm saying? Like I thought it was gonna be, weird, but it was actually a pretty good movie. You know what I'm saying? It had me on the edge of my seat. It had me over here rooting and shouting and whatnot, you know what I'm saying? So
okay.
Really it's definitely action packed.
I ain't gonna hold you.
Huh?
I kind of thought it was gonna be corny too, looking at the previews, but I ain't gonna lie.
It's definitely worth checking out. Like me, in my personal opinion, like I wish Jess was here. I think it's actually better than the third. The third was cool, you know what I'm saying? But I actually think it was kind of better than the third.
Yeah, the third was rocky.
Yeah. What didn't you like about the third?
Everything.
Dang.
You know what I'm saying? Everything, it was just trash. I think after 1 and 2, it's kind of like most series, man. After like the first 2, it's like, okay. You know what I mean? Like Friday was cool. Next Friday was cool again. And Friday after next, like, there's some memorable scenes in there, but it's not like the first 2. You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, yeah, once they got rid of my boy, it was like, yeah, this ain't. I didn't want to see Terry Crews pop locking in the middle of the courtyard. You know what I'm saying, with his prison
So
drawers on.
there were some elements about Friday After Next where I think they could have kept out that would have made it a solid movie. You know what I'm saying? Because afterwards it kind of just seemed like buffoonery. Like, how you're trying to like force a laugh. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't really like that aspect of it.
It's like
so
we running out of ideas over here. You know what I mean? That's what
I'm saying?
What it seemed like. So that's why I figured this one was gonna kind of be like these cats, they old, first of all, old as hell. You know what I'm saying? Mike Lowry, ain't nobody checking for you like that no more. And, you know what I'm saying?
But are they old though? I mean, come on.
Just in terms of the roles they playing, like, I thought they was gonna go back with the, Hot Boy Summer type thing, but I don't know. I haven't watched it, so let me not be too critical.
I'm telling you. So yeah. So Cheryl, like, I liked it. You know what I'm saying? As a matter of fact, it's worth actually going to go see again. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's something that I really enjoyed. Like I said, the third was kind of shaky, like you said, man, just because I think that after a long hiatus, they come back and it's like, it was just it was too unrealistic in certain aspects. This one was it was action packed. It was cool. It had good laughs. It had moments where you really just tuned into it. So I think 4 should have definitely been 3 if they were going to continue. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right. Kind of took the steam out of it.
Yeah. Hold up. Cheryl says he too old to pull that off still. It seemed forced. I'm not sure
about the Mike Lowry part. Yeah.
Certified. What's good with you, man? I'm gonna need you to stay here. Stay here, man. Tune in. We're gonna be talking about men's mental health. We didn't get a chance to really dip into it yesterday. You know what I'm saying? We were waiting for some more men to come on so we could actually have a good talk. You know what I'm saying? So and as soon as I said stay here, I think he may have dipped. Oh, she's talking about Mike Lowry, the Playboy role. I mean, but but Will Smith, he still looks good for his role. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it is that. So we're not going to give too much of it away, but I think they matured his character really well. Like I said, just that the action scenes were actually dope. The action scenes were actually dope.
Shouts out to Will and Martin, man. You know what I mean? Decades in the game.
Right.
Decades, boy. That's hard to come by. So
now, do you think that there's something wrong with Martin?
I think he's old.
You think so?
Yeah, I think he's just old, man. He probably got health complications. You know what I mean? It takes a lot to make a movie, and I don't think people put that into perspective. Like, you know what I mean? And then you traveling around, everybody want to do interviews. You ain't getting much sleep. You know what I mean? You crisscrossing the globe. Yeah, he probably diabetic, so that messes with it. That's a lot for older people to take on.
Right.
He not 25, 30 no more, where you can run off of 4 hours of sleep and keep it moving.
Right.
Get older, boy. Yeah, I need all my Z's, all of them. You know what I'm saying? Yep. If I don't get at least 6 hours, but I'm hurt.
Right. All right, y'all. So, we're going to go ahead and start dipping into the show. Make sure you guys are hitting the like and the share button. Make sure you're sharing this with your people. I don't see our usual suspects. Maybe we should have waited till 7, but I don't know. We'll see who pops in. You know what I'm saying? So, but we're going to go ahead and hit you with a little bit of ratchetness from yesterday. It's carried over from yesterday. I didn't want to make a whole new ratchet news.
Oh, God, I'm about to say we got a brand new one, huh?
All right, here we go. It's your boy Third Degree, and I'm back with more Ratchet News. So before we dip into all the ratchetness, I got to give a shout out to all of those who are on YouTube, who have been subscribing, watching the videos, watching the shorts. I thank you and love you. 407,000 people have tuned into the videos on my YouTube. So in return, this is a good look for the Drop Your 3 Cent family. This means we have a lot of eyes that are watching us. So they watch the shorts, they go back and watch the lives, and then they tune in and they love it. And we've been subscribing. We've been getting subscribers. So gotta give a shout out. We got 19,000 likes, 1,000 shares, 426 comments, all on some posts, man. So we're doing good. Shout out to the Drop Your 3 Cent family. Let's continue the good work. Now let's dip into this ratchetness. Now remember I sang this song, Trump's going to jail. Wajita, Trump's going to jail. Well, I got some Trump news for y'all. Convicted felon former President Donald Trump's campaign announces they have raised over nearly $53 million online since his guilty verdict. These are the times that we're living in. So he gets found guilty. His sympathizers believe that's a conspiracy theory and all. Then they gave him like $53 million, what, for bail? for his commissary? What's going on? What's going on? And then to follow this up, peep what this dumbass Candace Owens had to say. Candace Owens, quote, Joe Biden lived his life as an evil politician and a pervert. Today, he's a senile old man who is suffering from advancing dementia. Flotus, you're a deranged, cruel woman to allow your husband to go through this routine public humiliation. Are you the pot killing the kettle sellout? Because aren't you the same one defending a convicted felon who is actually a convicted rapist and also a bad politician? What are you talking about? Let's just go ahead and just dip into more ratchet. Michael Jackson's kids have just been cut off from receiving any of his money, which is weird because the IRS is claiming that the estate owes over more than $700 million in back taxes, which, if you're not mistaken, a few years ago, they actually cleared his debt and paid that $700 million tab. So for whatever reason why they're stopping the blockage of the money and to his mom, it's kind of crazy to me. We probably should talk about this later, but moving on. Just a reminder that they love to talk all that nonsense about the Biden crime family, but look at this right here. Let's go. Michigan man who went viral for tuning into court I think it was for a suspended license while driving has been arrested again as his case takes another turn. I guess as it turns out, check this out right here.
Let me make it very clear, based upon what the court looked at, he has never had a Michigan license, ever, and has never had a license in the other 49 states and commonwealths that form up this great union.
The man has never had a license, so how did I got so many questions, but in dumbass of the world, or dumbass award, goes out to him. Moving on. Man doesn't scan a single item at Walmart checkout. Sounds about white. Moving on. The U.S. military will remove all references to the Confederacy from buildings and street names and will rename 9 military bases named after Confederate generals. So what took you so long to do this? The Civil War ended in 1865. Matter of fact, the Confederacy lost, and we're just doing this now in 2024? In entertainment news, Boy Meets World actress Trina McGee. Hey, that girl was bad back in the days of Boy Meets World. But she's now pregnant at 54. At the tender age of 54, I found myself pregnant, as she quoted. Hey, salute and shout out, much love to you. We're sending all the blessings to you in the world. Singer and songwriter The Dream has been accused of rape and sexual battery by a former protege. As the world keeps turning and people keep getting exposed. Man, I hope this isn't true, but, as we've seen with Diddy, we have yet to see what happens, so stay tuned. Eminem is slammed over disgusting Megan Thee Stallion shooting reference a new single. Houdini, as fans brand him as pathetic. The song was... Moving on. Texas restaurant has been slammed for using photos of Caitlyn Jenner before and after her transition on bathroom doors. I'm sorry, I thought that was funny as hell. Funny. Moving on. According to the Shade Room, these are the list of the nastiest or actually dirtiest cities in all of America. Number 1, Houston. Number 2, Newark, New Jersey. Number 3, San Bernardino, my hometown. Damn. Well, that would explain a whole lot as of right now. That would explain a whole lot. But moving on. NBA star Dwayne Wade's daughter Zaya has transformed into such a gorgeous young lady. Moving. Just a reminder that Sagittarius are the greatest. Next. Oh, and ain't nobody coming to see you. Well, moving. Drake, Aubrey Graham has removed all of his Kendrick Lamar disses from Instagram. It's kind of sad, you know what I'm saying? I mean, he put out the Heart 6 and it was really weak as hell. And then it had like more dislikes than likes. And then so in the midst of all this though, let's just take a deep look at it. He deleted Tailor Made Freestyle, deleted Heart Part 6, fell off Billboard charts completely for the first time in a decade. Song calling him and his label pedophiles is number 1. They said this nigga had got swept and he's crying. I mean, and then he put out like a bad, horrible song where he's like, trying to imitate Jamaican patois and, some Delilah, whatever it's called. It was corny. This is what we come to about Drake. But as he is reveling in his utter disgust, Kendrick Lamar announces a concert at the Kia Forum on Juneteenth. Remember when that line that Drake said, you sound like you're trying to rap like you're trying to free the slaves? And Kendrick now doing a concert on Juneteenth, which was the last day that actually the slaves have actually been freed in 1865 when they found out they were free in Texas. So on a day celebrating the end of slavery, Kendrick Lamar announces a concert on Juneteenth at the Kia Forum. And it's dope because check this. It's called the Pop Out Cannon Friends, June 19th. So I wonder who's going to perform. I couldn't wait to try to get tickets, but peep this. He had over 100,000 people waiting to buy tickets for this LA show. So I think it's really without question to say that Kendrick Lamar is the king of hip hop as of right now. Drake took an L. It was a good battle, but all salute to Kung Fu Kenny as the king. And I think that's about all I got. Oh, just a reminder, June is Men's Mental Health Month. Also is Black Music Month. So we're going to be talking about different elements of both throughout the whole month. But for tonight's show, we're tackling men's mental health. So if you guys got anything to say, go ahead and just add in and drop your 3 cents. But for right now, just go ahead and enjoy the show. Anyway, I'm your boy Third Degree, and that's been your Ratchet News. Enjoy the show. Adoration, what's good with you?
Hey. What's up, Adoration? What's up, Jess?
Hello.
Hey, Jazz. Hey, boys.
How you wonderful ladies doing this Saturday evening?
Morning.
Or Sunday morning? Where you at? You know what I mean?
Pretty good.
That's what's up. That's what's up, man. Did you get tickets, bro?
Huh?
Was you able to get tickets?
No.
Yeah, it wasn't no chance.
You can't outbuy these youth. They're ready.
Yeah, it's only 20,000 seats in the forum, man.
I am gonna put this out there though. Me and Kung Fu Kenny, we're intertwined because, bruh, I hope get you 1.3 some million some plays of that of your song.
Boy. If you don't cut it out, sir.
I need a ticket or something.
He did not see that.
Looking out third, you know what I'm saying? 1.3 million. I didn't help you beat Drake. I helped you beat Drake with some of my content. I'm gonna need look out for boy one time.
Yeah, but he's live streaming it on Amazon Prime.
Even better.
Mm-hmm. I just seen that today. So they're gonna have a live stream on Amazon Prime for the people who can't buy tickets. So
can't afford it.
It wasn't even about affording it. It's just there was
100,000 people rushed to buy those tickets
for 20,000 seats. You know what I'm saying?
Only 20,000 seats.
Yeah, the forum only can hold about 20,000 people.
I mean, he needs to add more seats. That's the problem.
No, you need a bigger building.
He's in LA. He's in his home. Adoration, you think you've been gone for too long. He's in his home. He's doing something to give back to the people. He was at college. You know what I'm saying? He's out there with the people. He's out there shaking hands and kissing babies, but doing it sincerely. You know what I'm saying?
Amen.
Out there freeing the slaves.
Yeah.
And I seen his Compton Community College speech. That was pretty dope.
I'm shocked that Drake is taking such an L. I mean, I'm not shocked that he took an L, like he lost. We know that, but like he's taking his stuff down. That's hard.
Yeah. I mean, he got his ass handed to him. You know what I'm saying? And Kung Fu Kenny actually pulled a Drake on Drake. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm shocked. So
not only did he do a back-to-back, but he did a back-to-back and back. You know what I'm saying? And had a song. There's a song that is #1, essentially calling this man a pedophile.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying that, you know, he's a freaky ass nigga and all this other stuff that is #1 on the charts. That's getting played everywhere. They're playing it in the churches. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are playing it for their campaign. I mean, the news people are playing it.
That's an LL. That's bad.
The rally for reparations. That's their theme song. They'll be in DC for Juneteenth doing a rally for reparations. I've seen a commercial. That's the theme song in the commercial. Christ. They not like I said, boy,
that's just sad.
Certified said, what else can Drake do? He can go make a hit. And then to top it off, you know, while everybody's waiting to hear something what Drake's gonna do, he comes and makes a song in fake Jamaican accent, and the song is like trash. You know what I mean? He remixed it, and it was just horrible. It's just a bad look. And I think he's embarrassed right now. You know what I'm saying? Like Kendrick then took that man's soul.
And you know what was crazy? Drake and Cole both came out with some trash, fresh out the beef. They both came out with back-to-back trash. I'm like, I don't know who's in charge of y'all marketing, but that wasn't the move.
Yeah, I said at this point, Drake needs PR. Like somebody needs to come in and save him.
Yeah,
Drake.
What was that song J. Cole was on? It was something stupid.
That's what I'm saying. I don't even know.
Yeah, it was called Grippy or something. It was trash. I mean, he bounced back.
Drake, I will offer my services. I will help PR. You know, I will help do some content for you. I will put aside the fact that, you know, you did some kind of shiesty back in the day. I'll put that all aside and I'll come help you out and help get your numbers up too. You know what I'm saying? I'll make you have good look.
We got reference tracks out here if y'all need them, man. You know what I'm saying? Let us know. We got you. We put you back on the map. Let you know what the people want to hear. You know
he probably just needs to take a minute.
Wagwan Delilah was not it. That no sir.
No.
You Sexy Red and Wagwan Delilah. No sir. Who's approving?
Drake? I got some other songs in the vault you could take some lyrics from.
Oh
no. What?
Drake is a writer.
Ooh.
He's a what?
He's a writer.
What do he write? Children's books? What he write?
He wrote one of my favorite songs though.
Which one?
Unthinkable by Alicia Keys.
Drake wrote that?
He helped write that, yes. No, Drake is a writer. He's a writer, but he's a lifter too. He lifts.
He lifts. Of course. Who doesn't? I don't.
Not I.
You know what I'm saying? Real rap artists don't do it.
I don't either, but I'm just saying. I'm not.
Yeah, that's
dumb.
Thank you, Certified. You can say it. I'm trying to be politically correct on here on the after party, you know, because I don't want to ruin any relationships and whatnot that folks may have. But yeah.
Certified took us back to the 90s. He's a biter.
Well, because if anybody knows
forever.
Hey man, if anybody knows the whole backstory, it's Certified. You know what I'm saying? He knows the whole backstory. He plays an integral part in that whole thing. But yeah, there's some lyrics that Drake spit that I don't know if he was necessarily trying to lift, like bite, or if he was trying to diss. Either way, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I'm like Corrupt. You gotta call out names.
I mean, I feel like though it's kind of a thing in the industry where people will like quote somebody out in a way, or like quote.
No, that's one thing to quote.
Yeah.
Adoration.
Hope
You gonna
comes
make
with
a
faith.
story here on the Afterparty. So
Hey,
here,
Greg, we need you to stay tapped in today,
stay
man.
tapped in, Greg.
Put a shirt on. You know what I'm saying? Get out the bed.
Don't be laying in the bed, thinking that someone on here talking about, hey, how's it going? You know,
yeah.
We don't need you. And it's not that type of party. You know what I'm saying? Like,
at all. And we talk about men's mental health.
So what we're going to talk about, we're talking about men's mental health. Like, what does peace, with the first chapter or the first little nugget, what does peace look like for men, and why is mental health kind of frowned upon within the Black community? But before we tap back into that adoration, so I had a song that was called 5 a.m. Not 5 a.m., but Drink on Me. Certified was actually sending out my songs to people, and it ended up in the hands of Cash Money. You know what I'm saying? And so one of my songs was on there, which was that song. The deal didn't fall through. It was going to be a faulty deal. You know what I'm saying? One wanted to sign me to a developmental deal. One wanted me for a full artist deal. And so it just didn't. And then they wanted my name and they wanted all my back songs, but just didn't go through. All right. So, you know, maybe like sometime a little bit later, then I hear a song called 5 a.m. Toronto. Like literally after I dropped the song called 5 a.m., then there are some lyrics that were questionable, like that kind of resembled part of my song. And I went back and I listened, and yes, it was what I said.
Oh my God.
So I don't know if he was trying to diss, because he said, yeah, a couple of somebodies would have popped if I gave him some help. So I don't know if it was necessarily he was taking a shot at me, or if he was taking a shot at like Chris Brown or somebody like that, whatever. But yeah, he lifted my lyrics.
Bro, what?
Yes.
That needs to go viral. That information, because there are a lot of writers coming out now, coming for a lot of these stars because they stole their stuff. Like,
true.
Straight up.
True, but it was a couple of bars. So me, the MC in me was like, oh, I think he's trying to diss. So, you know, I went in there and I wrote some some bars.
Well, it's time to make that public news, sir. TikTok will bring justice.
Hey, that man has had enough. That man has had enough.
Truthfully,
don't do that.
I'm going to look into it. You know, I might look into an entertainment lawyer to see if I actually have a case. You know what I'm saying? See if it's strong. Because at the same time, what I also did was I let that song sit. So however many royalties and however many things it accumulated throughout the years, you know what I'm saying? It could be a pretty hefty thing, you know.
But the thing is, even before you spend the money to do the copyright infringement and get the lawyer, like I said, go TikTok, because TikTok will bring it to a head, and then a lawyer will contact you and be like,
adoration. I got you. There's lawyers that would do a pro bono, especially, you know, the fact that if it means like them getting paid on they'll take it off bat. Like if I have a case, they'll be like, oh, okay, yeah, you know, I'm gonna take that. Well, you give me whatever we get from this case. If we win, whoop de whoop de whoop, and you pay me off of that. But they'll do it for free.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. But you got to get the publicity so people care.
But here's the thing, you know, so sometimes all publicity isn't really good publicity. You know what I'm saying? I'm still an MC. I'm still a performer.
No, yeah, you don't want to be that guy.
So, you know what I'm saying? You know, next thing you know, you see me on KTLA. Rapper Third Degree has claimed that Drake has stolen his song. You see me on there like this, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And he's doing it for that, you know.
Not KTLA.
You know, because I have you know, whenever I hear those stories, I'll be looking like, really? You know what I'm saying? Like, but then you don't really hear anything else from them. Like, if you really was popping, then how come out here no more of your other songs? You know what I mean? Like, so it's kind of like one of those things.
But you might not be popping. Somebody might have stole what you were trying to do, and that's what really happened. There'll be people who are really, really good under the stage, and then people on top of the stage taking advantage of them. That's the usual story.
You know, I'm glad. So we're kind of killing some time while we let more men come in here. You know, so we could actually talk. So you're actually bringing up a valid point about entertainment, and we can just be blunt and just be honest about it. So a lot of people definitely have talent. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, as you can see within Hollywood, or if you haven't been to Hollywood lately, there's a lot of homeless people out there. And that's because a lot of people, they may have talent or they think they have talent, but some people don't know how to necessarily play their roles. Some people don't necessarily have the quote unquote it factor, you know what I'm saying, where they're marketable, where you can do this and do X, Y, and Z, but they can probably write a good song, or they can probably write a good script, or they can probably hold a boom mic, or they can direct, they can do other things. They're not utilizing all their full talents, you know what I'm saying? So this is why I'm saying, so some people may be a good ass writer, and they'll say that, okay, well, I'm suing such and such, and I'm becoming rapper. My demo got stolen, and blah blah blah. But then you don't hear anything else from them. You know what I'm saying? If they was really that hot, then you would hear something from them. You know what I'm saying? And so the thing is with this, how I would play it was that, hey, you know what I'm saying, you gotta break me off a little something. If you lifted my lyrics and put it in this song, break me off a little something, but also give me songwriter credit. You know what I'm saying? Right. So every time that it's in there, my name is credited as far as you interpolating. And like we talked about this before, like the perfect example is My Family, which is JJ Fad. They had a song called Supersonic. Some people would call them quote unquote one hit wonders, but that song was popping, you know what I'm saying? Especially back during the time. Nas shouts him out, Eminem shouts him out, but Fergie took that song and she did an interpolation of it. Will.i.am took it, flipped it, and they didn't contact my cousins about that. They got a lawyer, took it to court. So on the flip side, you know what I'm saying, they had to go back, give my cousin songwriting credit, and they also have to get residuals off of that. So when they're getting paid from Supersonic, they're also getting paid for Fergalicious, or they're getting paid for Rap God, which is Eminem. Anytime anybody's playing those songs, they get a cut. On top of that, they got another triple platinum. They got a triple platinum plaque, you know what I'm saying, thanks to Fergie, because they're listed as authors. And a lot of people don't understand, like, you know, that's where the actual money in music comes from. It's not necessarily just being a quote unquote star. It's the writing that you do. It's owning your publishing. It's actually owning your songs. Exactly. So when you have someone trying to come in to me and say, hey, I want to own the rights to your name, and I want all the songs that you created from before, I want to have ownership of that. Why? You know, I created this from the ground up. I can give you a percentage, a small percentage, but you can't have all of it. But you can't have my name. The name is non-negotiable, because if I don't come out and I get another deal, I go somewhere, you own my name, then I got to create and rebrand myself a whole different name.
Yeah. Hey, man, shouts out to you for being business savvy, man.
Just
I think you need to, I think you really, for real, like all jokes aside, I think you should start consulting with some of these SoundCloud rappers and some of these industry folks. Like, you know, start charging a consultation fee so that these youngsters don't jump into these
Can
deals.
I have a heart-to-heart with you, Quiz?
Give it to me, bro.
I don't necessarily think I had the patience, because I've tried to, you know. Certified's on here, he can attest to it, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's been younger cats who I've tried to sit up there and counsel and give my advice to where they're hard-headed, you know what I'm saying? They want to do things their way. They think that they know. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I tell a cat, like, hey, your name is not marketable, it's too complicated. When they put it in the search engine, they got to type in all this other stuff for your name. I mean, it's not, if I got to sit up there and say A, B, C, D, E, F, G, Y for your name, it's not going to be cool. You need something that's catchy and marketable, something that's going to be blah, 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 so you can brand yourself properly. Cats don't want to hear you. You know what I'm saying? They think that they know, or they think that they got it. So I don't have the patience to sit here and try to, you know, argue with a brick wall. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, that's why I said consultation, because, you know, you'll be amazed at how much patience you got when there's a check attached to it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you get a little bit more patient when there's some money involved. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, and then people see. This is what I've learned over the past few years. Man, when you try to help people for free, they don't value it.
They don't.
When they have to pay, they're more inclined to listen. You know,
listen to me.
Yeah,
that is
stop doing for
true.
free. Yeah, stop doing for free, sir.
Listen to me. I remember when I was gonna teach, my friends were all like, "Oh my God, I love your house, I love your place. You know what I mean? Teach me crypto for free. I will sit down with you anytime." Nothing. I was like, all right, fine, $50 an hour. All of a sudden, I had students. All of a sudden, people were serious. I'm like, so for free, you wouldn't sit down and have coffee that I would pay for. But for $50, you got your notebook, your pad, and you're like, wow, this is so expensive. And
yeah, like, I need all $50 worth for this. You know
$50 an hour.
Yeah, I need all.
You know, I ain't wasting on. Yeah, I'm if I'm paying $50, I'm showing up. You know what I'm saying?
Right. $50 an hour, exactly. I need everything.
But you know, you, Quez, as a businessman, even you, Adoration, even you, Jess, you can attest to this. You know, my philosophy is like this. To me, yeah, the dollar is cool. You know, I'm never necessarily saying I'm just doing it just purely for the art, whatever, like that. But the thing is like I want to invest my time and my energy into something that I don't want necessarily the quick buck. I want the long lasting dollar. So therefore, if I'm taking somebody underneath me and I'm trying to mold them into something right, you know what I'm saying, that's going to generate not only just like a dollar is going to generate dollars, you know what I'm saying, to where they can actually big and get whatever. I'm not necessarily looking for the quick buck. And as an artist coming up, that's the one thing I was talking about, or trying to I was thinking about where we were talking about open-mindedness. The reason why I think the way that I do is like I will hear you out, but if it doesn't make sense to me, then it doesn't necessarily mean that, hey, I'm closed-minded if I don't go with your or subscribe to your philosophy or subscribe to whatever it is you're trying to sell me. You just got to understand that, hey, I'm coming from an aspect where I have people literally trying to get into my pocket since the day I said I was going to start as a professional entertainer. You know what I'm saying? From managers sitting up there saying that, hey, if you pay me X amount of money, I can manage you. Why? Managers, though, you don't pay the manager. The manager makes money off of whatever you make.
Exactly.
So whatever deals that they generate for you, that's how they get paid.
That's how they get
You know what I'm saying? Show promoters. You know what I'm saying? Like they're too lazy to go out there and go do their own show. So they'll make you pay for or pay for play, which means that they'll give you like tickets to sell, pre-sale tickets, because they can't sit up there and go put out posters and everything and generate. So, okay, let me get an artist. And if you, I'll let you perform in this club, but you got to sell 10 tickets at $25 a pop. And, you know, whoop, and here goes some extra so you can get some money, whatever. But you sometimes, I'm saying this all to say, you have to take an L in order to get wins for later. So even in that aspect, you got to sit up there. Okay, I may have to pay to play right now because I'm up and coming. Don't nobody know me, but how can I make this benefit me? And when you're looking at these business deals and people trying to come at you, if it's not mutually beneficial and it's only beneficial for one person, then it's a shiesty ass deal and you should never do it. So you got to figure out a way how to make it work and benefit for you. So I'm doing the pay for play. Then boom, all right. So I'm gonna make sure I got my CDs. I'm gonna sell those because you can't get no profit off the CDs that I sell. If I got merchandise, you can't get no profit off of that. If I got my own merchandise where I'm promoting and marketing and stuff like that and generating people coming to my website or going to Spotify, whatever, to generate, you know, revenue off of my songs, you can't touch that. So I may have to pay to play right now, but the ultimate goal for me is to win in the long run.
No, absolutely. See, I understand that, Third. And this is where I have to talk to the mindset of the entrepreneur in you, because I had this.
What's up, Greg?
What's up, Uncle Greg? You know what I'm saying? Great to see you, Pastor Bell. Yeah, you know I love you, Greg. Man, what's going on, bro? But listen,
Uncle Greg.
But listen, man. See, this is a huge problem that I've been running into with talking to people about
everything
not only business, but their financial freedom, right? Right. I understand from your heart perspective what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? And that's beautiful. All right. And then, but also you have to understand for your own personal branding that people value you more when other people value you. Now, I'm not saying be out there taking advantage of people. I'm in no way sense of the word saying that. But the more people value your time and your efforts, right? Even if it's just, you know, hey, I can look over your contract for you and tell you where there's some flaws. Give me $20. You know, if you start out on that perspective and you give honest feedback, that's still valuable. Yet I'm not raping you to look over a contract.
True.
You know what I'm saying?
True.
And I still get something for my time, so that later on, this is the give up to go up. You know what I mean? Because these people pay lawyers. You know, some lawyers are $300 an hour to just look over your paperwork.
You're very true.
You can save somebody somewhere in that process. So I want you to quit looking at money as if it's evil.
Oh, no. Never that.
I'm not saying that's what you're doing. Because we're talking to an audience, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I'm telling everybody, you can't look at money as if it's evil when your time is absolutely valuable, and your years that you put in the work are also valuable.
You're 100% correct. I agree with you. You know, but I think also too, to piggyback off that, I think you have to kind of be selective too with who you put your time and energy and stuff
Absolutely.
into, and who you make pay. Because I can tell you firsthand, like, so Jerry Heller, whether you like him or dislike him, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is one of the dudes who actually helped put my cousins on. So with him, when he's a certified manager, so I mean, he's helped Easy, he put on Ruthless, he put on Dre, everybody. So he's already paid his dues, and Elton John, Marvin Gaye, all these folks he's worked with, right? I could call him in the middle of the night, be like, "Hey, there's this contract that I got. I need you to take a look. I'm gonna send it to you." He would do it for free. Now, for a manager of his caliber, just for him to even just sniff it, you know what I'm saying? I know that he would charge. But he did it off the strength of me and who I am, who my family was, and treated me as family. But any other person though, yeah, he's gonna charge. Like, hey, well, if I'm gonna look at this, you gonna run me $700 or whatever like that for me to even look at it. You know what I'm saying? So
right, but you know who those people are that you're willing to do that for. You know who those individuals are. But I'm just saying, as far as operating in a world of wisdom and knowledge base, you know what I mean? You should be charging these folks for any impartation you can give them about the game. And you know, don't waste your time, brother. That's all.
I hear you.
Because you got a lot of games.
Hey, can you do me a favor, Greg? Close the door in the background. I hear some noise. I hear TV or something. So we'll go ahead and start getting into the show. If you guys are coming on, I got the link to come on as a guest in the Facebook section in the comments. Make sure that you hit that link. Also know that if you're coming on, that you know we want you in a nice, quiet spot, that you're using, you got your Wi-Fi on and everything. Just know that, hey, we are on the live show. We go and stream everywhere. So we can be clipped up and get put on YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, or X, whatever you want to call it, porno X, whatever you want to call it. It goes everywhere. Because you know they're allowing porno on Twitter, you know. So
are you serious? I'm glad I was on there.
Man. So yeah, so you're going out everywhere. So you want to make sure you have the best representation as yourself. As a matter of fact, we ain't trying to look like, you know, we're one of the number one dirtiest cities on that list. We want to make sure that we got ourselves looking good. You know, we're representing ourselves well. If you're coming on using your phone, just know that you have to use your headphones, and your headphones will work as a mic, and it picks up on everything. So if you're snoring, if you're chewing, if you're taking a dump, if you're doing whatever, it's picking up on everything. So just know that. All right. So we're gonna bring back Greg.
Yeah, sorry about that. My son, his room is close to my computer room.
Oh no, it's all good. All you gotta do is just close the door.
Not with him. Not with him. He's the bell. He's loud.
There you go.
Oh man.
Man.
How you been,
so you know what?
Working hard, working like a you know.
But don't worry, Kendrick freed you, brother. You free now.
Man, so you know what? Since we got some men on here, you know, hopefully your certified still out in the audience. Let's go ahead and start talking about mental health. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's June, so it's men's mental health month. It's one of the things that, you know, I didn't really start becoming popular as far as like men opening up and being forthcoming about mental health. You know, but let's just take a deep dive into one of the shows that actually talks about mental health.
Talk, so you guys come together to talk about what's on your mind, what's bothering you. That's another thing I think we don't get a chance to see that often. Why you guys think it was important for you guys to kind of create that on the screen, and do you guys have that off the screen with each other?
Absolutely. Yeah, I want to say before the men's circle scene, I was like, hey, everybody pull up, let's just chop it up. Yeah. And then let's run the lines, but let's just talk.
How are you doing?
Yeah.
How are you doing?
On the show, you guys have.
And for us, and thank God to Jacob, you know, being our number one man who suggested that we link up and have our own men's circle with the Men of Shy, just to check in, but also to ground us in with how important this scene and this journey that we're about to take with the show, how important it is. Mm-hmm. You know, and I'm grateful that it resonates with you, because that is the point. It's, you know, and just to take off the layers of taboo that you know, Black men don't know how to speak or know how to talk, or Black men don't need a space to speak and talk and allow their feelings to show, and have some type of support or village that will just listen, if anything, and be there for you. And for us, and thank God.
Yeah. So, you know, shout out to the Shy. You know, like there's some things and aspects about the Shy I really don't really like. You know what I'm saying? But the fact that, you know, they incorporated, like, you know, one of the characters, he'll have like a men's circle where they come and they talk about the stuff that's afflicting them in their lives and what's going on, and they let loose and they actually have these conversations. For the panel, why do you think some of these conversations were never had before?
Well, with growing up, you know, my dad, because men in that time, they didn't cry, they didn't express their emotions, because if you look on social media, a man is supposed to pay all the bills, fix everything, and be there for everybody. But there is no one there for them. And if they had an issue, like the internet shows, men, they go out in their car, in the garage, or like my dad used to do. My dad used to go out in the garage and hit the punching bag, and he would never show his emotions, that he was not okay. And that's the stigma of now that's continued nowadays. Men aren't to show any type of emotion or express how they feel or what they're going through to anybody. And like one of the gentlemen said, if you open up to a woman and tell her everything that's going on in your life, 9 times out of 10, she's going to bring it back into existence in an argument. And that's when men totally shut down. And that goes on today. Men will not express themselves. They will rather die than show their emotions or express themselves. And that goes for me too.
Wow, that's deep. That's deep.
Well, Greg, we here for you, brother.
We got brothers on.
No, I'm so serious, man. Like for real. Because me and Third, we have these conversations offline. Like, you know what I mean? We call and check on each other, and we make sure we tap in. And there's some other individuals, males that I speak with and I consult with about whatever my life grievances are. So it's a very necessary space. I understand, you know, the generation you speaking of, because I came out of there too. You know what I mean? But as getting older and having sons and trying to create a better path of healthy communication and environments, you know, these are important things that men do need circles for. And you know, not to bash the women, it's just not a conversation you should be directing there first majority of the time, to be honest. But men only do that because the circle of men they're around are already prejudging them, and they aren't comfortable enough in their situations to have an honest conversation about what's really bothering them in life and their inadequacies and their defaults. You know, so you have to find a circle of men who are comfortable enough to tell you that, yeah, I know I ain't got it all the way together, but I'm working on it. And you know what I'm saying? I'm willing to listen to you and give you some advice and give you some tools from the stuff I've learned going through my process. Maybe it can help you. I hope it does. And, and if it doesn't, you know, I'm still here to listen and possibly learn something from you. You know, that we talk about that mutuality. You know, men need to have these types of conversations because it's not a safe place out here in general, like Cheryl said the barbershop, but even in the barbershop, you're not really going in there explaining
exactly.
You know what I mean? What was really keeping you up at night? Yeah, you joking, you talking about sports and women and whatever the case may be, but you're not talking about.
Yeah, you have fellowship, but
yeah,
nothing too deep.
That's why I teach the men at my church. I teach the men's Sunday school, the adult men's Sunday school class, and when we enter that room, we close the door. Whatever's said in there, if you're having odds with your wife or something, she found out that you got a sticky on the outside or whatever, that stays in that room. And if you have to really break down, which has happened before in the class, I let them know that they instill their trust in me, and I sit there and I listen, and I be as transparent and openly as possible, saying I've been where you are and yada yada, and I try to bring scriptures into it, but a lot of times I just sit there and not listen and let them, as women say, vent and let it all out before they implode or explode against someone in their family.
Right. You know, for me, I think it has to do with trust. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not really too much of a trusting person. If you know me, know that I'm cool within my own little circle. I stay within my own little lane, my own little bubble. You know what I'm saying? I don't necessarily go seeking out like, hey, will you be my friend? And so even with that being said, I gotta, once you come into my orbit, it's a matter of I give you a certain amount of trust. And once that builds up over time and I completely trust you. But even still, with that being said, it took like, like people like Certified or Pastor Fox, with True Vine Ministries, saying people who, when I was going through my divorce, there was a lot of stuff that I kept bottled up, especially with the death of my son. And, with stuff that we've dealt with from generational stuff, what I'm saying? Like things that we held like deep within from our childhood, what I'm saying, is starting to surface up within our manhood. And I didn't necessarily understand what some of that stuff was. It took older men to try to tell me like, hey, like this is what this is, and this is how you navigate. And even when I was wrong, they would point out my wrongs. When I'm right, they point out my rights. Just like you said, Greg, when you have a shortcoming or a mess up, you can be able to talk to them about it. Like, hey, man, I had to slip up and and they don't judge you. They're like, oh, it happens. This you got to try to work on not trying to make the same mistake again. And this is what this is. So it really took me going through my own storm to kind of understand what mental health actually really was. And that therapy was actually okay, because I had a bad stigma about it. Like, I'm never opening up and letting somebody into my business. Why? Because I don't trust nobody. And But, at times it can be really beneficial and helpful, especially when you're thinking about marriage, you're thinking about raising your own families, and you're thinking about other relationships that you have with other people, whether it be business or just a personal friendship.
I was told not too long ago, one of the ministers, a brother, he was preaching a sermon, and he said, we are supposed to be non-judgmental listeners.
Absolutely.
And when he said that, it just radiated to me. And that's what I carry out into everywhere I'm going, at work, because in a crowd, my coworkers are this and that. But when you get on an individual, when they're by themselves and it's just them and me, they open up to a point where, Greg, I'm dealing with this, I'm dealing with that. And I'm non-judgmental. I just listen. And once they get it off their chest, then it's like they feel a little better. And I try to encourage them all the time.
So what's some of their names in some of these stories, Greg? I'm just
playing.
I'm just playing. Don't do that. It was a joke. Don't do that.
Okay.
I'm saying no. I was just joking.
If we want to be 100,
on a serious look, on a serious note though, to revolving back to what Third was asking in terms of peace. A lot of times men's peace turns into isolation. So the thing that you're doing, Greg, with allowing people that space to just kind of vent it out. A lot of times that's more than enough for men to get it back together. They just don't have anywhere to dump this stuff. You know what I mean? Because you're holding on to so much to keep up this stoic persona. You know what I mean? To let the world know that you're the man's man and you got it. You got your family, you got your household, you got your job. It's all figured out. But sometimes you need to dump some of this extra, stress and trauma that you just been stowing away, because sometimes that hard drive fill up. You know what I mean? You got to delete some of them old emails. You got to delete some of that spam that's in your system. You got to dump that off somewhere. So there's just sometimes just being an ear to people, to men in general, is more than enough, because they don't have anywhere to let that off. You know what I mean? And, when men stress, they tend to go into isolation. They tend to not want to talk. They tend to not want to be in crowds. They tend like this just from what I've seen in terms of, me personally and some of the other men that I've been around. Like, that's typically what happens. They go into their corner for a minute and they may cry and scream and cuss and do whatever, pray, whatever it is that they do to vent and get that out. And then they come back to society like, okay, I'm cool now. But they still ain't cool because you still holding on to it. You just went through a struggle by yourself, and now you back outside, but you had to get emotionally intact, because men, when that pressure builds up in us, it usually comes out in violence. With women, it comes out in more of an emotional tone, but with men, it's usually a violent tone, and it's, it's very bad. So giving men the opportunity to speak and just let it out, like he said, without judgment, and just listening. And I ain't got to say nothing. I'm just go ahead and say what you got to say, bro. And if you want some advice afterwards, then I got it for you from my understanding. But if not, I'm just here to listen.
Right.
We need that.
We need more of it. You know what I'm saying? Because I think that, some people, especially like the old school men, I think a lot of them found ways to kind of suppress and to kind of like deflect from whatever it is that they were dealing with internally, and just chose not to deal with it, whether it be, alcohol, whether it be drugs, whether it be women, whether it be food, whether, like you said, it be violence. So there's different ways to how to project your anger and your emotions. People don't want to deal with it because they weren't really being verbal with it back then. And which is why you have a lot of, like, quote unquote, broken homes, because, I think one of the things that we face as men that, I was just telling Jess about this the other day, like, when you start looking in the perspective of even like being like a father or even like a husband, when you start looking at that, that's a scary uphill battle. Like, man, you start to have doubts. Like, can I do this? Can I actually do this for my family? Can I be this man? Can I be this provider? Can I be this protector? Can I actually do this? And for some men, if they don't have good examples of that, they're going to fold. They're going to run from it. They're not going to sit here and deal with it. They're going to run from it, as opposed to dealing with it head up. And they find different ways of how to just cope with it. And then they create other families without, taking care of their responsibilities, because they're not dealing with the trauma that's afflicting them internally.
Mm-hmm.
One good thing there is, I'm a father of an autistic young man. Growing up, when he was born and they diagnosed him, that was the hardest that I had to deal with. And I had nobody that really understood. The only person in my family that understood was my cousin Shauna, because she also has an autistic son. They gave examples of friends that had kids in my situation, but they didn't know what it was like being a man, a black man at that, raising an autistic child. And some of the times where I had to go into a corner, and like that commercial they have where a man is gripping onto a counter or something and screaming, just letting it all out. And when he sees somebody, he's all happy and smiley. That was me until I opened up my prayer life 100% more than it is now, to where I talked to God and he instilled in me that peace. And I started treating my son like a regular, normal kid and telling people, push him to a point where he's reading scriptures, he's speaking, he's being more outgoing. And now it's like, I don't look at my son, he's autistic. I look at my son, Omari, which is a teenager, and that's what he's acting like. Trying to stay up late, got video games everywhere. And he's still my little man, but he's a teenager now, and being 16, he's ready to start driving, and that's like another hurdle I'm gonna have to deal with. So that's me being transparent as a father of an autistic child, and the mental health issues that I had dealing with that as he grew up, because the fear of what the world will do to him. But now it's like, my son is just like any other person.
Absolutely. I think as fathers, you know what I mean, we always hold on to that fear in the back of your mind with having black sons, and them not being fully emotionally intelligent, right? We can try to give them as much as we can give them, but they're still their own person. They're still their own people. And, you know, with sons, it's like, it's unfortunate to say, but you don't have the opportunity or the grace or the perceived innocence to blow up in public spaces, to have a meltdown in public spaces, because it can cost you more than you think, right? So
yeah,
as a father, you kind of struggle with that, knowing that. I mean, I think you never get rid of that. Especially with sons, if you have sons, like I don't think that's something you ever get rid of in the back of your mind. You know what I mean? Even as they become adults and grow and like that, that's still, because we still experience it ourselves. So, you know, it's how can I put this? It's just one of those things that you keep in a folder in your brain, like, you know what I'm saying? It may not be a constant thought, but I mean, you open that file drawer every once in a while and check in there. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
and you know, you try to prepare your children for as much as you can possibly prepare them for, but they do have to go out into the world without you a lot. And you can't control all of those situations. You can only hope you gave them enough information to survive whatever encounters they run into, and that they make the best decisions with the information you gave them. So that I definitely understand that, Greg. That one was, yes, sir. I feel you.
All right. Hey, y'all, I have another clip. You know what I'm saying? Dealing with mental health. And then I want to talk to the ladies for a bit and get their perspective.
I appreciate y'all listening too.
Yes, thank you, ladies.
Good.
Yeah, I love that. I mean,
All
nobody tell y'all.
I struggled with anxiety. I struggled with depression, not really knowing what it was. When I was a kid, I've struggled with PTSD, just seeing the things in the environment that I was growing up in. So basketball wasn't just a sport that I wanted to be professional in, it was an outlet for my pain. And then ultimately, as I got older, I learned how to channel that pain into becoming strength and to becoming perseverance and having the will of a champion way before the accolades and the gold trophies. You know, becoming a champion of life is waking up with that gratitude in your heart, knowing you got a chance because you took a breath.
Yeah. So, ladies, so hearing some of the stuff that we talk about, you know, what are your ladies' perspectives on men's mental health?
My question is, because I know Greg said that he talks with a group of men at church. My question is, from the churches that I've been to, I've heard that there's low numbers for men. And I heard that Third said, you know, like, so is that an issue for all men? Is that the reasoning for the low numbers with, you know, as far as the men's ministry, or what could it be?
A lot of times, for my standpoint of view, growing up as a kid, men sent their kids, like my father sent us to church, but he never attended unless we were having an event there. He never explained to us why he didn't go, because there was a lot of men in our neighborhood that never went. It is always a low percentage, and that's throughout the world. There's always been a low percentage because men have trust issues when their wives are putting more energy into the church, per se, than the home. And if you notice, my mom was she was choir, Bible studies, Sunday schools, vacation Bible study. My mother leaned on God for a lot of things. And she grew up, grandmother, grandfather were biblically scholar to where that's what they taught us. And my mother put her faith and everything that she had into the church to raising 6 kids and dealing with my father. So when I guess I'm taking a stab at it, my father saw all that energy that she was putting into it, not saying that she was this saint, but she believed that Christ was the head of her life. And that kind of brought in a little jealousy to my father, to where my father would go bowling all the time and she would be into the church doing her thing. So it kind of like, I say it was a jealousy with men, that women are putting all their energy into the church, into this pastor, into this man, listening to him preach all the time. And then they come home and they kind of clam up or do their wifely duties to raising the kid, running the household, being there for him. And it's so short-minded to where men started resenting that. And me, myself, I would not get involved with a woman that wasn't into the church because I was so grounded into it. So that facade, that jealousy that it ran through my household as a kid, it kind of got away because I saw it from the inside out instead of the outside in. You follow me?
Okay.
That's so deep.
Yeah, I just had a question because my son, I feel like, of course, when he was a kid, he was all into it. Now that he's a teenager, it's really hard now.
All right, so
Really
can I give
hard.
my take real quick?
Yeah, please.
Well, especially for teenagers, because like Greg, I grew up in the church, 7 days a week type energy, you know what I mean, with my mom until I was able to, you know what I mean, dip off and do what I wanted to do. But the reason for me personally, I think men don't attend church is because I think church is an emotional morale boost for most people. And I think men typically respond to logical, information-based teaching, right? Like we want to learn something, of course, but I want to learn something I can use as soon as I leave here. Like I don't need you to, boost the morale in the room. I don't need an emotional high, and then as soon as I leave here, I got to go back to my reality. You see what I'm saying? So I think a lot of men with having to be head of household have so much on their brain that going to a pep rally is really not exciting for them. And I think a lot of church has turned into pep rallies, right? It's turned into, music, theatrics, and fellowship, but there's no real, the message is not getting to anybody in a realistic way that I can internalize this information and use it when I go back to the space where I'm struggling immediately and continue to do so until I come back. And then you got part two of that. That's where I think the church is going wrong, because it's became more so of a theatrical production than it has been a counseling guiding concept of giving people information that they can use today that's not emotionally based. Like a lot of people are selling hope right now. You know what I mean? I don't need hope. I need steps, tools, and strategies to remove myself from the struggles that I'm in right now. What can we do to fix this? You know what I mean? And men operate in that space when life isn't where they want it to be. They don't want to hear you tell how great heaven is. I'll deal with heaven when heaven comes. Today the rent is due. You know what I'm saying? Like tomorrow, I'm $50 short on the light bill. I need some, like, men are operating in that space. So, you telling me that there's streets paved to gold up there. You know what I mean? Somebody chip one of them bricks and throw me something. That's how men are thinking. I don't want to hear that right now because my life is in shambles, or it's not exactly where I need it to be. And you giving me a pep rally is not going to make me want to, go home and do anything. That's my answer.
I'm gonna drop my 3 cents. You know what I'm saying? You're probably gonna get 3 different answers. You ask 10 men, you probably get 10 different answers because it's a perspective. But my take, because at the same time, even though I have my own perspective, I wholeheartedly agree with both what Quez and what Greg is saying, because there's definitely some truth to both of what they're saying. I think another aspect of it when it comes to teenagers, because I was a kid that didn't necessarily grow up in the church. You know what I'm saying? We prayed before we ate. We prayed, what I'm saying, when we needed to talk to God. Even my grandfather told me that, you don't need no church to talk to God. If you want to pray, you get right in the middle of the street and you have a one-on-one conversation with him, but you don't need a church. But I think one of the things for teenagers is the disconnect. You know what I'm saying? Because again, like I think I've shared this with you guys before. Like I had a strong passion for music even as a kid. And I think I went to one of my family members and I was asking about church, and then I asked about music, and then he gave his aspect of his perspective of what rap music meant, and he called it crap, and this with this, and so the thing about it is, like, some churches that you go to, they have this their nose in the air where they're highly judgmental, and so the minute that you step wrong, then all of a sudden you're wrong and and then they berate you with all this negativity. And another aspect of it is too is that some older men or some older generation do not know how to necessarily know how to communicate with the young ones. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a different language, it's a different vibration. You know what I'm saying? Like we were just talking about yesterday where we have like, you know, we're from the era where we can't call our moms bruh, you know, we can't call our moms cuz or blood, or you know, saying if our grandmas walked around, you know, we had to hush up with the curse words, or even if we saw somebody, an older woman walking down the street, we had to shut up because let it be known that you were over here using words in front of this older woman, or you cursed at this older woman or anybody older than you, then you have to deal with your parents when you got home. We're from that generation to where now we're in a generation where kids have no reverence for authority. So I think, you know, when you look at some of these kids, they look at a pastor, they look at a man like me, Quez or Greg, they look at us as a thing of authority, and they don't know how to necessarily connect, you know. So it's just one of those things where it's a generational gap, I believe.
Yeah, good point, sir. Good point. I ain't no authority. You know what I'm saying?
That does for that.
We don't fuck with the police. No, I'm just playing. You know what I'm saying?
We talking that.
No, but definitely, man, for the youngsters out there, like I'm not no authority. I'm a regular guy.
Yeah, you know and I think that's a good thing though, because I think that younger people connect with people when you are that regular guy, like me, I hang out with young people all the time. I'm always talking to and mentoring teens because I mean I'm kind of a kid myself.
No Diddy, you gotta say no Diddy.
No Diddy. I mean
you're hanging out with the young people too much. You know what I'm saying? Don't be out there too long, Drake.
My youngest sibling is 9 years old, so that's just how I am. I'm very youthful, but I feel like it's very good. And I even tell them I tell them like you have to be I even tell them like you have to be careful of older people because most people ain't good that even want to turn their attention to you in general. So that's a big deal. Yeah,
you know, I just had an epiphany. I don't mean to interrupt the iteration, but I think with some of the kids, for the young boys, I'm gonna say today, what I think they need is if they don't have a father figure, even if they do have a father figure, I think they need that big brother type. They need a liaison. You know what I'm saying? They need that person in the middle that can communicate and knows how to communicate with them and know how to communicate with the father, you know what I'm saying, or the authority figure, you know what I'm saying? Because I think that's that gap that I think that's missing, because you have a brother, you'll be able to communicate or speak the lingo or know how to communicate with the young crowd, at the same time know how to talk and get through to the older ones too. You know, it may be that liaison, you know what I'm saying? Or I don't know. It's something, but I see it because I just saw where Certified said, he said we need them days back where, you know, we had a reverence for adults. And I don't know. It's sad to say that, you know, after when we're gone, I'm curious to see how the world is going to be.
I mean, yeah, it's.
My time's up, man. Y'all have fun.
I mean, I think this happens every generation. Like the last generation was saying that. My dad was saying that. You know, his mom was saying that. His grandma was saying that. And I think that it's just a difference. I mean, and I do agree that at least back when I was younger, I remember seeing a kid on their phone. They had phones, and I was like, whoa. And they were at the table at a buffet, and they were on their phones, and I was just like, what is happening? And then nowadays, that's just the normal. And so I think that every generation, there's a new norm, and I think the next norms would shock us into heart attack, and I think that it won't shock their parents who are our kids. So I just think it just gets worse and worse.
But also, I think life has a way of coming back full circle.
100%.
I think it's gonna. And I hope I see. This is what I hope I see during my time, is that it goes so far that it has to self-correct.
It has to come back. Yeah.
I hope that you know, not for the negativity of it, but I hope it gets so far out of hand that we have to dial it back, because 100%. Now this is just absurd. Like this like I hope to see that. Like, you know what?
Right.
Yeah, we was talking about all these freedoms and you know, social norms, but this is some bullshit. Like, let's dial this back. Like, who said take God out of the school? Who said, you know what I'm saying, you didn't need to have community to help with your children? Who said it was, you know what I mean, okay to be, you know what I'm saying, rich baby daddy and fly single mama? Who said these things? Like, let's take this back real quick, because this is not working. You know what I mean? Look at society. I hope I get to see that.
You know what, fellas?
I'm gonna clutch my pistol.
You know what, fellas? I'm gonna say it like this. You know, I think truthfully, it starts with us too. You know what I'm saying? We're responsible. You know, like that's one of the things I tell Jess, you know, like as long as I'm in your life, you know, I'm gonna be in your son's life. So a lot of the stuff that I have to do, I have to be a good example. So the one thing that I want her son to see is me showing and giving his mom love. Amen. If we have disagreements, you know what I'm saying, then we're gonna work it out in front of them. It's okay to have disagreements as long as you work it out. You know what I'm saying? But you know, one of the things is like I would say around them, like, oh, look at mommy, this is mommy beautiful. And he's like, yeah. So it brought me to tears a little bit when she said that, you know, he made a comment like, mommy, you look beautiful. You know what I'm saying? He just told her that, you know what I'm saying?
That's my youngest.
That's the youngest one.
Yeah.
So, you know, for the kids that are impressionable who are coming up, I think we have to pour into them. And we have to go back to like the old school ways. And I think I get that from my grandfather, you know, from what I heard when my grandfather was like a pillar of his community. So for the kids in the neighborhood who didn't necessarily have fathers, he'd be out there throwing the football with them, asking them how their days are going and all this other stuff. And he poured back into his community. So when he left, that community poured back into him. You know, Greg, you know where grandma stayed. She stayed right there, smack dab in the hood. You know what I'm saying? But did she ever have a problem?
Nope.
Because those boys who turned into men made sure, like, hey, no, you're not stepping on Miss George's lawn with any of that bull crap. They looked out for our family right there on that block. You know what I'm saying? Because of what my grandfather poured back into his community. And I think we as men, that's something that we need to do. We need to be great examples and pour back into those that are behind. So therefore they know they have a good example of what it means to be a great man. And certain things that we know that are toxic, or certain things that we've seen that were wrong with the people that we saw above us, we know now the correct way of how to maybe address that. So now we can tell them, like, I may even make sure when it comes to him, when he cries about certain things, I gotta catch myself. I'm like, man up, you ain't supposed to. Now I gotta scale it back. Like, no, it's okay to cry. It's okay to cry when you're hurt. You know, when you're feeling sad, but you can't cry when you don't get your way. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's different ways of how you have to change how you talk, because how I was told, like, no, you can't cry. You can't do this. Men don't cry. We have to be X, Y, and Z. You know, now we have to say it's okay for you to cry. It's okay for you to show emotion. You know, it's not okay for you to get emotional because you don't get what you want. You just have to just suck it up and just try again the next day. If you lose at something, get up and try again. You know what I'm saying? It's all about what we pour back into the youth.
Amen.
Yeah, there's a huge difference between you can't cry, and that's not a valid situation to cry about.
Right.
You know, like those are two different things. So, you know,
I wish my
as
brothers
men in
were
the
on
community,
here.
I'm trying to get my brother on here now. I'm trying to
you can absolutely say, look, it's okay to cry, but because you lost on the Wii or something, bro, we're not crying about that. I can give you all valid reason to cry if something is real. We're not crying about something that you can turn on and turn off. Like that's an appliance now. You know what I'm saying? That's a game. It's not life. Or you know, because somebody didn't give you your way and they didn't really have to. That's not what we cry about. You know what I mean?
One of the things I learned too, I want to get this to the men. If there's any men out here watching, I had to learn the hard way, you know, and I had to learn. Certified, I'm glad you're here. I wish that you would actually get on the camera so you can, because he has a lot of wisdom. You know, he's been that big brother role for me. You know, I was a young cat coming up, very angry, ready to fight anybody. I'm always with the bull. There's times he had to kind of stir me to the right, you know, like, get over here. And like, so God bless him, and all he had to put up with me. You know what I'm saying? But the one thing that, you know, I'm telling you, I know I'm a handful. You know what I'm saying? But the one thing I can tell you men, you know what I'm saying, is that especially if you're in relationships, your women are dying for your vulnerability. You know what I'm saying? Though if you're with the right woman, she's dying for that vulnerability. You know what I'm saying? So when you're she's looking for you to be emotional with certain things. It's okay to cry with your woman. If you're gonna get with somebody, make sure that you get with somebody who genuinely loves you and has your back because she wants to connect with you on that level. If she's not seeing that, some women, if they don't see that, then they're feeling like, hey, there's a disconnect. You know, he's not caring about me. He doesn't show by my emotions. So definitely take your time to actually talk with your lady, talk with your woman, but be vulnerable with your woman. If there's something that's afflicting you, especially if you're married, that woman is your partner, that is your best friend, that is your confidant. You know what I'm saying? Like if there's certain things that you need to talk with her about, talk with her about. Just sit down and talk, but you got to make sure you know who you're marrying because I know that there's some ratchetnesses out there, you know, saying like you can't really have a conversation with them unless they talking about like a Birkin bag or you talking about, turning up at the club or, Kardashians and the housewives and all this other crap. So you got to be careful, but be selective about who you lay down with and be even more selective about who you have children with.
Amen to that. Amen to that.
Like I said,
ain't take them kids back.
Like I said, this is the second go round. In the first one, I was immature, she was immature. And I couldn't go to her with the things that I was dealing with as far as raising two girls and dealing with trying to continue to work and grow in my field because it was work yourself out of a job. Then you have to go home and tell the wife I got laid off. I'm waiting for the union to find me something else. Stuff like that. And in my first one, I couldn't really go through and tell her that without hearing the backlash. Oh, he can't keep a job or this and that. But not knowing my line of work and stuff, they didn't understand that when you work construction in a union field, you literally work yourself out of a job until the next one booms up. So with this one I'm with now, she went through 9-10 years of apprenticeship on both sides. And she understood. She hated it, but she was there for me. Baby, I got laid off. Okay, we'll get through it. And it was one year where we went almost a whole year on unemployment. And I had rent, which was almost $2,000. I had a car note. I had all these entities where I hate to bring him in, but he's the main head of my life. I took it to Jesus and he got me through a complete year on unemployment where both of us was on unemployment. And we made it.
Give credit where credit is due.
Right. Don't ever say that again either. I don't want to hear that from Pastor Bill. I hate to bring him in this again.
I apologize it came out of my mouth.
Yeah. Hey, bro,
I apologize it came out of my mouth.
No, you don't have to apologize. For those that know or don't know, this is again, we created
that's their fight. Let them do it.
They fight.
You don't apologize for giving a guy his credit if
I'll tell you like this: if it wasn't for God, your boy, I'm trying to tell you.
To just in a nutshell to say this, I'm more dependent on Jesus now than I ever was in my life. He's the head, he's everything. And for the young men nowadays, I try to instill in them, I wish back when I was younger and a knucklehead that I would have sought him stronger than I do now. And that's the facade. Young people think it's uncool to praise God. They think it's uncool not to hang out and stuff like that. we need to, as men and as women, we need to instill in our younger people to encourage them to seek God, because I hate to say it, it's not going to get better. It's going to get worse.
Mm-hmm.
And if they don't have Jesus on their side, they're not going to be able to handle it. That's that's why the suicidal rate for men and young people at our all-time high. And we just celebrated last month mental health issues, and it's okay to not be okay. And I used to just bottle everything up. Now I'm like an open book. When something is really bothering me, I let it be known to those that I trust. Because like you, Ed, I have a trust issue. I don't tell everybody everything. There's only certain people, but I go to God with everything, even though he knows. Every morning I go to him, and throughout the day I go through him, because I'm dealing with this and that and this of the world. But he says in his word, my strength is your strength. So lean on me to get through. So I'm off my pillow now.
No, you good.
I have 2 questions.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So the first question is, for your first marriage, did you ever explain to her the process?
We talked and talked, and it's like we talked past each other, not to each other.
I'm stealing that one from you.
Deep.
I'm definitely stealing that bar from you. For real.
It's true though. We do it a lot.
Sometimes you be talking past people,
each other,
not to.
past each other.
Yeah, I like that.
Other,
that was good.
and never to each other. That's a real thing.
That's good.
All right.
Your second question?
My second question is for the whole panel of men. How do I, as a single mom, get my boy back to just, I don't know, like being more involved with God? How do I do that? Mind you, I don't have a lot of time with him. I have him Monday through Friday and 1 weekend out of the month.
Hold on, Greg. Okay, I want you to be a closer, because you got more experience than
you get to close this one out, Pastor Bell.
So, but I'm gonna say it like this: teenage. I'm a little bit closer to the situation. The ill reality of it is we just have to be real about the situation. And the thing is, we as teenagers, if we're coming into teenagehood, I know with me, I came from a situation where I had a single mother. My step-pops had left, my grandfather had died. I felt like there was the 2 men that I trusted the most were gone. So I definitely had a rebellious phase, and I had a chip on my shoulder to where, I was getting suspended for even if you looked at me wrong. I was ready to fight. I was down. I didn't care. So I'm saying this to say, sometimes at some point, it's sad to say, you as a woman, there's really nothing you can do for a boy who's going through that aspect. It's especially if his father is in the life right now, his greatest influence right now is going to be his father. So a lot of what he's going through, he's going to mirror a lot of what his father is. This is the formative years of his adulthood, because he's getting ready to step into that. So the one thing that we can say, and correct me if I'm wrong, fellas, that the number one person that you would look up to back in the day, was your father. And if you didn't have a father, then it was the next male person that was there, whether it was a stepfather or your grandfather or your uncle or a cousin or your brother. You're looking for that guidance, because we don't know what it's like to be a man or this next phase in our life. But right now I can tell you that, he's smelling his nuts. There's going to be a thing where he's going to be kind of feeling himself, and he's going to want to test you. So the thing is that you have to kind of give it to God. If his father is in his life, you have to give him to his father and hope his father steers him in the right direction. That's my 3 cents. I could be wrong.
No,
you're not
go
wrong.
ahead, Greg.
How not really getting into your business with the father and you, but you and your son's father have to have that relationship to where you come together as one.
Mm-hmm.
Not if it's toxic. You don't have to do that.
Yeah, if it's toxic, then that's a different, because
right. Yeah, I just wanted to add that because I knew you was going there, but I just if it's toxic, you do not have to do that. I want everybody if y'all relationship is volatile, you know what I mean, when y'all come in close proximity, that's never good for your children, no matter what your initial goal is. So go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm gonna give my 3 cents after.
With me and my ex, we have come once we divorced and everything, we had came together because we still have children that we had together. And now that we have grandchildren, we are on a cordial to where we have boundaries and stuff, and we come together as one, because whatever goes on with our girls and our grandchildren, and now my son-in-law, we're on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
And for Edward, who has the front view on the situation, you have to be that man. You have to stand tall. Like they say, people rather see a sermon than hear a sermon. So all the talking in the world is not going to always solve it. But seeing you being that outstanding, loving person, compassionate, looking after the young lady, he's going to see that and say, wow, and start mimicking that. And all the non-filterization that kids have nowadays, he's going to shun away from that and lead toward the respect. Because the greatest respect that young people have nowadays has gone out the window. They're showing so much where the kids are out of line with their parents, with adults. When you have to go into a classroom and break up a fight between a teacher and a student, in my days, that would never happen. Even if you were a gangbanger, you had that respect for the teacher, for the adult.
Mm-hmm.
So now we have to be that sermon for the young people nowadays.
You're right, Greg. I'm gonna put this out there right there.
What are we talking about?
Hold on a sec, Melvin.
Oh, okay.
Hold on, Melvin. We got you. What's up, though, bro?
So I'm gonna say it like this. So Quez, you didn't know, but as soon as I got to El Camino, I got put up for expulsion because I almost fought a teacher. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm trying to tell you that he disrespected me and it was about to go down. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I'm trying to tell you that sometime right now there's a huge disconnect between this and that, and especially if you have a chip on your shoulder or if you're dealing with stuff internally and you don't have the right outlet to really to exude this stuff out, it's going to come out in other ways. You know what I'm saying? So this situation,
I wanted to say recover the topic at hand, because when you get done with this, I'm gonna say what I want to say, but I also want to hear what late ass Melvin got to say in our final 20 minutes. You know what I'm saying?
Go ahead. I was just saying, basically, it's just a thing where each generation is going to be different. The one thing I think we as men, we're gonna have to just know that, hey, this isn't what we grew up in. You know what I'm saying? This isn't what we're used to. This is something. The new norm is the abnormal, and saying we have to kind of revel in that. But the thing about it is just that I don't know. Go ahead, Quest. I'm gonna let you take it.
Okay, so this is my take on Jess's situation. I got a couple but not a couple. Maybe I got 1 or 2 questions myself.
Jess is pregnant.
What the what?
Congratulations, Jess.
Hey, whoa.
No.
That's what he's talking about. Congratulations, Jess. Third, I knew you got some Michael Phelps in your third. I knew you got
Oh my God.
some good little swimmers.
No.
That's my nigga right there. Congratulations. Congratulations.
Okay, shit.
So go ahead,
I wanted to ask, so with your son, does he respect his father? Like
I think he does, yeah.
And is the situation with his father like dangerous enough to where he shouldn't be over there?
No, it's not dangerous. It's just that we're not on the same page. With our oldest, she's 18 already, and we were not on the same page.
Okay, so with that being said, because this is how I'm going to view it now, there's a reason why I asked those questions. It may be time to send that young man to sit under the tutelage of his father. I understand you, his mother, that's your child, that you may want to have complete control about his situation and his well-being, but telling you from a young man's perspective that, didn't have a father, and there's only so much you can give him as a mother. And if you don't allow his father to impart real life lessons on him in real time, which weekends don't do, with summer times don't do, like there needs to be real incorporation, because you guys may not agree on teaching styles or even life perspective in general, but he's had more than enough time with your perspective, right? And he's going to start to rebel, and he's going to need that fatherly structure above that to keep him in line while he still has the lessons that you gave him, so removing all egos out of the situation, you may have to let him look what we got going on. You don't want to listen to me. You're in this rebellious phase. Maybe you should go sit up under your father, and 1 or 2 things going to happen. Either he's going to flourish, or he's going to realize, hey, maybe I should go back to mom's house with a little more respect, because what she had going on is more what I need, because this nigga tripping. You know what I'm saying? Like, but 1 of those 2 things going to happen. I promise you. You know what I'm saying? Because fathers don't put up with certain things, especially if you're a father, you got to take care of your kids in the house with you by yourself. It's a whole lot we not finna deal with. You know what I'm saying? All that, hey, bruh, look, sit down, shut up. You ate, you're good, do your work, get up, wash your ass, go to school. Everything outside of that is
definitely different when the father is in the picture. And say, like if you're a single mom and the boyfriend's in, because at the end of the day, his number one hero, his number one go-to is going to be his father. Yeah, hands down. There's only going to be so much that, that somebody from the outside is going to be able to do. There may be some perspectives that he may take and he'll consider, and he'll look at it, especially if he respects that person, you know what I'm saying? But the number one person is going to be his father. So there's definitely going to be that conflict. You know what I'm saying? It's almost to say, like, if the father wasn't in the life, you know what I'm saying? And if you had a good, steady, like, stepfather or a husband or whatever, if he's in the picture and he's steady, then it's better to kind of raise that child up, because now that man in his life will have his hands on him and be able to help mold him. It's a different dynamic when you have to battle for pretty much attention between this and this and that. So
yeah.
But he's not rebellious at all, though. He's on the honor roll. He's on point.
He just won't go to church, and won't listen.
But he'll go because I say, "Come on, let's go to church."
Right.
But I think that I have
send that man to his father and let him sit up over there until he realized 1 of those 2 things. You know what I mean? That's just my honest advice. Let him go stay with his dad. You know what? Go sit with your daddy for a while.
But his dad is in a whole different city, and he's not going to leave his friends.
That's not. Those aren't decisions you get to make as children.
Nope.
Nope.
What's the issue? I missed the issue. Is he being bad?
No, he's not a bad kid. He's not a bad kid at all. So, Mr. Lake Melvin, We were talking about men's mental health and what does it mean for our community. What does peace look like? But we took aspects of it and we started talking about our mental health, where the ladies were an audience for us. So the ladies had questions, and Jess was just asking the question. So how do you bring your son at one point, because he used to go to church, he was into it with her, but now that he's coming into teenagehood, he's not going to church as much, or he's not really into it. And how does she wants to know how do we bring that back as far as like men? How do we get them back into that aspect?
Oh, I don't know. I went to church every single Sunday from when I was in second grade to junior year of high school. And then you know what, junior year, I was like, fuck that shit. I don't want to go no more. I'm tired of it. I've heard the same ass sermons 50 million times. I don't want to. You're only gonna tell me about the scorpion, the frog, and David and Goliath, and all this other shit though, so many times that I need to put it into principle. So and my thing is, you can't force God onto somebody. You
Thank
can't
you.
force religion onto somebody. You can't force. It's just like forcing morals onto somebody. A person is who they are. He may be going to church to appease you, and now he's at the age where he's like, you know what? I don't want to go to church. I never really wanted to go to church anyway. That was me. I was like, I'm Christian. Why am I going to this Catholic ass church for 2 hours listening to this old ass man I don't even know, drinking some grape juice and some shit I don't even want to drink? And that's what I was really thinking junior year. I was like, I don't want to be in this shit. I'll see Jesus when I see him. That's all I got to say.
My God.
So,
man.
but it was that,
I'm about
and
to
my
get
dad,
just some
my
holy
dad has
water.
not missed a Sunday of church in 32 years. He's always went ever since he got out the Marine Corps. When he was in the Marine Corps, he was going too. It's just, but it's not for everybody. My brother's an atheist, and he went the same amount of time as I went.
Wow.
And so, if you force religion on people, they're gonna find excuses not to go because you're gonna put a bad taste in their mouth, and you can't force God on anybody. And that's
Amen.
just and especially teenagers. You got to let them come into their own. Because what if he doesn't want to be Catholic or Christian? Maybe he wants to be Muslim. Maybe he wants to. I'm being serious. Maybe he wants to change his religion. Maybe that's not for him. And so,
You're kind of right. Right now, it is a soul searching phase that we go through as teenagers.
Absolutely.
Because you're trying to find not only are you trying to find your identity as a black teenager or a black man, but also with your friends and what your future is going to be and everything else. So it's a soul searching time of that life. And that's why so many teens pick it's when they're like 16, 17. That's when they start doing drugs. That's when they start experimenting. And I knew plenty of people that was up in church, and we all know those people that was up in church on Sunday, but they were hoes on Saturday. And so that don't mean just because you sit in church on Sunday don't mean you were a hoe on Saturday and Friday night. And then Sunday you want to bring your stinky ass into church and then get ready for school the next day. That's how it always was.
No filters, boy.
I'm being 100. So many people would go down to the alley on Friday, bring their stanky ass to church on Sunday, and then get ready for school. No, I can't come outside. I can't do anything. I got to prep for school. I was like, what, bitch? You were just shaking your tail feather on Friday night. I saw you.
How did you say?
That's a true statement.
Gotta love Melvin, man. Gotta love him.
Honestly, I hear Melvin in a way. I agree with him. I think
welcome to the dark side.
Hear me out.
You're coming to the dark side.
One of the biggest mistakes that hear me out. One of the biggest mistakes that a lot of the last generation made, and we make also, is we try and force this traditionalism and idealism on people when God is not in a box. We put God in a box for our kids and say, this is the only box that you can please God in. And if you don't do this box, then you're not pleasing God. And like you said, you go to church, you hear the same stuff over and over again. You start getting like, what is this? And like Quez mentioned, You can't apply it to your life. You know, it's not working for you. You feel judged when really God is not supposed to be in a box. So I think that it's smart to try and connect with your son outside the idea of the guys of church. Not just like, oh, are you coming to church on Sunday? Do you love the Lord? To where he feels like, oh, if I don't get to church, I must not love the Lord. There must be something wrong with me. And there's not. Like, if you're able to impart God in different ways and different lessons and different lectures and different, experiences, rather than it always just being go to church, go to church, go to church.
All right,
Generation,
that's beautiful. That's a beautiful adaptation of it. But I'm gonna keep it a buck. I'm just gonna keep it raw because I'm on my tea. So I'm gonna just say it like this.
Lord.
So
Juice Jack over here.
Lord,
you drank it all too.
I drank it all. We just gonna keep it a buck, right? Okay. So as a teenage boy, as a black boy in this here America, if you have your father in your life, you're looking up to what the male is doing in the house. If the father going to church and he's doing X, Y, and Z or whatever, 9 times out of 10, that boy is probably going to try to emulate it unless the father is too damn strict. Right. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, if he's going to church, then he's going to be in church. If he's not in church, then he's not going to be in church.
But that's what I mean.
So the boy's going to pick up on different, whoever that role model is in that boy's life. He's going to try to emulate certain aspects of that man. You know what I'm saying? Because
listen, if we're talking about inducting people into your religious practices, I think the book gave you everything you needed if you read it. There's a reason why the prodigal son is in there. There's a reason why Jesus had to pop out and show niggas. You know what I mean? He didn't show up to church. He walked the streets and he performed God's works in real time. So that I don't have to sit here and explain to you why I believe. I can just show you.
Yeah, he showed them what those hands do.
Mean? So if you show your children what's possible with your real life, then that's a different testament than, hey, we going to church because you need to go to church.
And that's what I mean.
It's part of the structure.
I think we're all touching on the same kind of thing.
Right.
It's not only the fact that you go to church, but you also have to see it in your outside of church as well. Because if you're just like, okay, I go to church and it's just what I do. But then a second I leave church, I'm selling drugs. I'm listening to the music and then emulating the music that I'm listening to. And then I don't respect my parents. And then I'm doing every other sin. But then I'm going to bring my ass to church. It just doesn't weigh out. And I don't, and then like Quest says, if I don't have those mentors or examples outside of the church, then it's not really reinforcing any of the teachings. It's like, all right, you guys say this, but then Dad, you're outside of church, you're a piece of shit. Like you're not doing anything. You're going to sit in the church and say,
and that's
you're going to do this, but then outside of church, you out here cheating, beating, doing all this crazy shit. And then you want me to go to church. Like, if you're not the example, you can't tell me to be the example.
Two picks. Hey, I love this conversation. I really don't want this conversation to end. So, but we're coming on our 2 hours. I got to cut this off so we can get our AI cuts out. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to leave it up to the panel. We can probably do an extra 30 minutes. I'm gonna stop this show so we can let this generate. I create another one that might just be exclusive for Facebook. You know, I don't know if we'll put it out to YouTube.
Hey bro, I'm out of here. I'm eject those no, come on. You know what I'm saying? Nah.
Are we gonna talk about toes or not?
Go to church.
Because it's not gonna be 30 minutes. I promise you. The way this conversation is going, it's not gonna be 30 minutes. And here in Atlanta, I don't have another 2 hours to spend with you guys. You know what I mean? Trying to help y'all get y'all life together.
Yeah, y'all fucked up. Quez, y'all fucked up. Deal with it.
I'm gonna send my boy to you, Quez.
Hey,
bring him over.
No, but
he can stay with me.
All right, so I know we're talking about next week's show, but it might have to be on a Thursday because Third might be out of town on Friday. I don't know right now. Everything's kind of up in the air. I'm working on something. I might have to go out of town to go do some work.
We can always do it on Saturdays. Is always good.
I won't be in town
We'll
Saturday.
be out of
You know what I'm
town.
saying? I'm trying to I might be on the East Coast somewhere.
You might
I
be
wanna
at a
put
strip
anything else.
You
club.
be out here on my time.
Be
Jess, he's
safe,
at a strip
cuz,
club,
wherever you
Jess.
doing.
Don't trust him.
Yeah.
Third Eye
Damn.
Strip Club.
What the?
He's
Boy.
gonna be dropping 3 cents at the Mickey of Blue Flames.
What?
Yo, I love this, man. This has been a great one. I'm not sure what the numbers are, but as far as the topic for discussion's been dope. You know what I'm saying?
This is a
Because I
great
think
show to watch back.
this is definitely going to be a great one to watch back. I'm gonna have to do some edits real quick though. You know what I'm saying? And I'll put it back out. But
If you're doing edits, can you make my forehead a little smaller? Because
No,
It's too
that's
small
not
already.
that's impossible.
that shit, my hairline.
what did Adoration say?
She said it's too small already.
I gotta try to tuck the hairline down some, so that's the only way. That shit up here.
Good night, you guys. It's been fun.
Man,
It's been
this has been a good
informative.
one. I'm really bummed that this has to end. I will try to figure out a
Oh,
way.
the little cutie! Look at the
What's
little
up, Rashawn?
cutie.
How you doing?
They said bye.
We'll try to figure
I
out a way
said
how
bye
to
too.
get this popping. I don't know. This has been a good one. I'm mad that we have to even end it.
Bye.
Hey, cuz,
All right.
to your,
All right. So,
your,
hey, Greg,
your
thank you.
co-star,
Ladies, thank you for
Thank you,
being.
Man, thank you for the comments. Y'all read it up in the comment section. Certified. We appreciate you. Sherelle, you know what I'm saying? Toes. Reverend
First-
Bell. We always appreciate you, Bishop Bell. You know what I'm saying?
He's a bishop.
No, just
He's
a
a deacon.
deacon. Just a deacon.
What does that mean? Is that
You
like
gotta speak your next promotion into existence. So Bishop Bell,
is that like
we
a bishop
appreciate
light?
you and your tutelage here on this podcast and keeping us grounded, man. For real, I know I be joking with you, but I appreciate you for real.
It's just a title that
all
was
your bald glory.
implemented.
Do deacons get to
Because-
fight still, or is that
So what's up, Greg?
who gets to fight the clergy? Is that the who gets to fight? Because I know the pastor
The
can't
deacon
be
board
fighting.
can vote the clergy off.
I think
know,
the
what were
deacons
you
are the
saying,
ones
Greg?
that fight when you don't give the money. They're like, "Oh, you hold it out this time." All right.
Oh,
Because
also,
wherever
there's a show
you,
where
wherever
Netflix-
you going, be safe, bruh.
It's not set in stone. People got to send me a contract, so we got to make sure the
Okay.
contract's right first
Okay.
before I do anything.
Okay. Yeah, get
So,
the money
but-
right.
Exactly. But all right, so yo, I love y'all. Thank you for
All right.
tuning in to
Peace.
drop your 3 cents.
So
This
we're
has
not
been a
coming
real
back?
one, huh?
No,
We're not coming back?
adoration. I'm outta
Adoration, you
here.
can come back.
Well,
I'll come back with
we might.
adoration.
I don't know if Quez will
Me and
come back. But
Adoration
we
are
might.
starting
We'll
I'm
to-
not.
see.
You see what I got going. I'm not coming back.
Right.
Okay.
I'm out of here.
Bye, y'all.
All right.
Hey, well,
love y'all.
real quick, before we head out. So we are creating a community. We have a messenger group that I'm going to start adding people in. There's going to be the community for those faithful who actually show up and participate and whatever. So therefore, if you can input, you can input, drop suggestions for topics, whatever, or certain things we talk about. I'm gonna add you in, like Adoration, you're coming in, Jess, you know what I'm saying, like Greg, the faithfuls, the people who actually show up and actually support and actually help us with this. So
We need to go back and delete some of this stuff though for the people.
we're creating a community. You know, we have a Facebook page and we have a messenger that we're going to add people to. So
Yeah.
much love to everybody.
Let me go through the messenger.
Thank you for
and clean out
showing
my comments.
coming
when I'm
through,
talking
and I'm
about
going to check y'all later.
adoration.
Peace.